The wind howled across the frozen plains of Erinder, a small colony world at the edge of human space. Snow fell like white ash, covering everything in a blanket so thick it swallowed shapes and sounds alike. No human had come here in years, and few ships ever passed this lonely planet. Beneath the ice and frozen ridges, something small stirred. Two young dragons shivered in the cold, their scales covered in frost. They were brothers, though one was a little larger, with dark blue scales that shimmered faintly, and the other had silver scales that reflected the dim light of the weak sun above. Their wings were folded tightly against their bodies, and their breaths came out in small clouds. Hunger gnawed at their bellies, and the cold bit deeper with every passing hour. "Brother," the silver one whispered, his voice soft and weak, "do you think anyone will find us?" The blue one shook his head slowly. "No, not anyone. Everyone forgot us." His small eyes stared at the snow around them. "The Empire, they never wanted us. They left us here." The younger brother shivered violently. "But why? We didn't do anything wrong." The older one sighed, and no answer came. Words could not fix what had been done. Their parents had been powerful dragons, part of a long line that ruled the skies of distant worlds. But politics and fear had erased the twins from every record. No ship, no human, no dragon had been sent to rescue them. They were left alone in the snow, abandoned by their own kind. Hours passed, or maybe days, the twins could not tell. Their world was nothing but white, nothing but wind, nothing but cold. Every sound of snow shifting over ice made them flinch, every shadow seemed like a threat. Yet in the quiet, a faint hum broke the endless storm. High above, a human ship flew low, its engines humming softly through the storm. The pilot, Aaron Hale, scanned the planet below, adjusting his instruments. He was a surveyor sent to chart ice formations and mineral deposits. He had no reason to expect life here, certainly not dragons. But the instruments on his ship blinked with strange readings. Energy signatures, warm, small, alive. "Strange," Aaron muttered, squinting through the snow. "That's not supposed to happen. Nothing should survive down there." Despite protocol, he adjusted his ship's course. He descended toward the faint signal, navigating through the storm with care. Snowflakes struck the cockpit, making the view blur. Yet he kept going. Something told him that whatever waited below was more important than minerals or data. Below, the twins felt the vibration before they saw the light. The ground trembled slightly, and the older one lifted his head, sensing a presence. The silver one's ears twitched nervously. "Stay back," the older whispered. "We don't know what it is." The hum grew louder. A strange light glimmered against the snow. Then a figure appeared, a human in a heat suit, carefully stepping through the drifts. His eyes scanned the icy plains, moving in slow, cautious sweeps. Aaron noticed the small shapes half buried in snow, their scales glinting faintly. He froze. Dragons. Real dragons. And they were alive. He dropped to one knee, careful not to scare them. "Hey, it's okay," he said softly. "I'm not here to hurt you." The blue dragon hissed softly, curling tighter. The silver one stepped forward, curious despite fear. He lifted a small claw and touched Aaron's glove. Warmth spread through him, and a small spark of hope lit his eyes. Aaron smiled gently. "There you go. You're safe, for now." He scanned the area quickly. Snow would cover them again soon, maybe for the last time. He had to act fast. He reached into his pack and pulled out emergency blankets. He draped them over the twins, keeping them warm as he guided them toward his ship. The dragons moved slowly, their weak limbs trembling. One step at a time, Aaron helped them, murmuring encouraging words. The snow whipped around them, but the humans stayed steady, a shield against the storm. Finally they reached the small ship. Aaron opened the cargo bay and the twins slipped inside. For the first time they felt the warmth of enclosed air, and the chill of snow faded slightly. The silver brother nuzzled Aaron's arm, and the older brother watched silently, still cautious but less afraid. Aaron checked the controls and initiated takeoff. Outside, the storm grew worse, snow piling in waves as if the planet itself wanted to claim the twins back. But the ship lifted, shaking slightly as it left the surface. Inside, the dragons curled up, feeling safer than they had since hatching. Aaron looked at them and whispered, "Don't worry. I've got you. You won't be forgotten anymore." The twins blinked slowly, warmth and safety filling them. The blue one finally spoke, a soft voice trembling with relief. "You saved us." Aaron nodded. "Yeah, I did." The ship soared above the frozen world, snow blurring into white streaks below. The twins watched from the small cargo bay, their wings folded but their hearts beginning to trust. Outside, the storm continued, fierce and endless, but inside for the first time there was quiet. There was warmth. And for the first time they believed someone cared. The snow did not stop. It did not pause. It did not care. But the human who had found them, Aaron Hale, had made a choice that the storm could not undo. A choice that would change everything for the forgotten twin brothers. Aaron Hale stared at the twin dragons curled in the ship's cargo bay. They were tiny, fragile, and shivering even in the warmth of the cabin. Their scales glimmered faintly in the dim light, blue and silver, like ice kissed by sunlight. He had seen strange creatures before, but nothing like this. The larger dragon, the older brother, sat back on his haunches and watched him carefully. His eyes were alert, wary, and full of suspicion. The smaller one, the silver dragon, crept closer to Aaron's boots, his trembling form seeking warmth and comfort. Aaron sighed, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. His mission had been simple: survey ice ridges, take samples, and leave. But now he had two abandoned dragon heirs in his care. Every part of him knew that he should leave them here. Any other human would have. Any protocol would have demanded it. And yet he could not. He knelt slowly, keeping his movements calm and deliberate. I'm not going to hurt you," he said softly. The larger brother tensed, but the smaller one tilted his head and let out a quiet, trembling hiss. Aaron reached into his pack and pulled out a warm blanket. He draped it gently over the smaller dragon, letting the dragon feel the human's careful touch. "There," he said. "Better?" The silver dragon relaxed a little, leaning closer. His eyes blinked slowly, the trust building slowly but surely. The blue dragon remained still, silent, his gaze fixed on Aaron. Aaron rubbed his forehead. "I should walk away. I know I should. You're not mine and this isn't my fight. But I can't leave you out there." The ship's cabin was quiet except for the soft hum of the engines and the small breaths of the dragons. Outside, snow whipped against the metal walls, fierce and unrelenting. The storm wanted to take them back. It wanted to bury them forever. But inside there was warmth. There was safety. Aaron checked his supplies. There was enough fuel to leave the planet, but not enough for long. He had rations, water, and emergency packs, but none of it was made for dragons. He had no idea how to feed them properly or care for them, yet he could not ignore them. The silver dragon nudged his glove again. Aaron bent down, letting the tiny claw rest in his palm. The warmth of the creature's body against his hand sent a small shock through him. He had never touched a dragon before. They were supposed to be myths, legends, stories adults told children to scare or inspire them. And here they were, real, alive, and trusting him. "Don't worry," Aaron whispered. "I'll figure this out. We'll be okay." The larger dragon's eyes narrowed. He tilted his head as if questioning Aaron's words. Aaron understood that. Trust was earned, not given. He had made a choice by rescuing them, but now he had to prove that he could keep them safe. He moved to the ship's small kitchen and returned with a container of water. He set it down carefully. The silver dragon licked it immediately, and Aaron watched closely as the blue dragon stepped back, studying the motion. He wanted to give them more, but he had no proper food for dragons. He made a mental note to find something as soon as he could. "First things first," he muttered to himself. "We survive the storm. Then we figure out the rest." The storm outside raged harder. The ship shook with wind and ice, and Aaron gripped the controls tightly. He had to keep the vessel steady. If the storm caught them too long, they could crash. The dragons felt the shaking too, pressing close to each other. Aaron reached out and rested a hand on the larger one's shoulder. "It's okay," he said. "We're going to get through this together." Hours passed like this, with snow lashing against the ship and silence except for the soft breathing of the dragons and the hum of the engines. Aaron used the time to study them, examining their scales, their claws, and the faint markings that shimmered like faint lights. He did not know what they meant, but they were beautiful, ancient, and powerful even in their weakened state. The silver dragon finally curled up closer to Aaron's side, letting himself be held. The larger dragon still watched, but he was less tense. Aaron realized that the twins were learning to trust him, slowly, cautiously. He also realized that he had made a choice no one expected. A human saving creatures that others had abandoned. He thought about the empire that had left them here. How could they forget their own heirs? How could they abandon them in a place where no one survived? He felt anger but also sorrow for the lives almost lost. But Aaron did not dwell. Dwelling would not save them. Action would. "We'll leave soon," he whispered. "I'll take you somewhere safe. Somewhere no one can hurt you." The larger dragon blinked slowly. The silver one nuzzled his hand. Aaron felt a small smile spread across his face. He was tired, worried, and uncertain, but at that moment nothing else mattered. The human and the dragons were together, and that was enough. Night fell over the snow-covered world outside, dark and silent except for the storm. The ship glowed softly from within, a beacon of warmth against the frozen darkness. Aaron watched the dragons sleep, feeling a strange bond forming. They were not his, not truly, but he was their guardian now. And for the first time in his life he understood that sometimes, doing the right thing was harder than walking away, but infinitely more important. The storm did not care. The snow would keep falling. The world was harsh, cold, and empty. But inside the ship, there was life, warmth, and hope. 2 dragons who had been forgotten, and 1 human who refused to leave. Aaron Hale had broken every rule, ignored every warning, and risked everything. But he had done the only thing that mattered: he had saved them. And in saving them, he had started something that no storm, no empire, and no force could undo. The ship glided silently above the frozen plains, leaving the storm behind. Inside, the twins rested on soft blankets, their eyes half closed, still tired from hunger and cold. Aaron Hale watched them quietly, his mind racing. He had saved them, but now he realized he knew almost nothing about who they were, or why anyone had left them to die. He decided to search the ship's database. The archives were old, dusty, and incomplete, but they contained information about the galaxy and its species. He typed quickly, scanning for any mention of dragons. The screen blinked, and finally it produced something. Not just dragons, but a royal line, ancient, powerful, feared across multiple systems. And these twins matched the descriptions exactly. Aaron's eyes widened. "So, you're not just dragons," he muttered. "You're heirs? Royal heirs." The silver dragon lifted his head, tilting it curiously. The blue one stared at the screen, eyes narrowing as if he understood more than Aaron expected. Symbols on their scales shimmered faintly under the cabin lights, responding to the information displayed. Aaron had never seen anything like it. These were not ordinary creatures. They were chosen, marked, special. He leaned back, rubbing his forehead. "The Empire left you here? Abandoned you?" He could not understand it. How could a civilization forget its own heirs? The screen showed old reports. The Empire had erased records, hidden evidence, and sent no rescue missions. The twins had been left to die because of a prophecy, a fear that they would change the balance of power. Aaron looked at them. "You didn't deserve this. None of this was your fault." The silver dragon crept closer, brushing against his hand, seeking warmth. The blue dragon remained still but did not retreat. Their trust had grown, just enough for Aaron to see the faint glow of hope in their eyes. Aaron knew then that they had survived against impossible odds. The storm, hunger, and cold had not finished them. But the galaxy had turned away, ignoring them completely. No human, no dragon, no official would have stopped to help. Everyone had assumed the twins were lost forever. "We're going to change that," he said softly. "We're going to make sure you're safe and no one will ever forget you again." The twins studied him carefully. They had been betrayed, abandoned, and left alone for too long. But they sensed something different about Aaron. He did not see them as weapons, as property, or as tools. He saw them as living beings, fragile and important. And that mattered. Aaron spent the next hours learning everything he could about them. He found old star charts marking territories once ruled by dragons. There were letters and records of royal families, battles, and alliances. The twins had been part of a plan no one could remember, a prophecy that humans and dragons alike had ignored. He realized that the Empire had feared them, not because they were dangerous but because they could think differently. Twins were unusual. They worked together, trusted each other, and could act in ways that single heirs could not. That had made them a threat to those who wanted control. Aaron shook his head. "They left you to die because they were afraid of what you could do, and yet here you are. Alive." The silver dragon blinked slowly and nudged his hand again. Aaron laughed softly. "Yes, you are strong. Stronger than they thought. And we're going to make sure the galaxy sees that too." As the ship traveled farther from the icy world, Aaron began to plan. They could not return to the Empire, not yet. They would be captured, separated, or hidden away. The twins needed time, care, and freedom to grow. He reached into his pack and found small food packs. He experimented, offering tiny pieces to the dragons. The silver one accepted immediately, showing hunger and curiosity. The blue one sniffed carefully before eating. Aaron smiled. Even in the smallest moments, trust grew stronger. He spent the rest of the day observing them. They were intelligent, quick learners, and surprisingly gentle. The silver dragon explored the cabin, tapping controls with careful claws. The blue dragon watched, analyzing everything silently, making decisions only he could understand. Aaron realized something important. Humans were not the only intelligent species in the galaxy, but kindness was rare. The twins had been abandoned because others feared them, ignored them, and refused to act. And yet, one human had chosen differently. "This is what humans can do," Aaron said quietly. "We're not the strongest. We're not the fastest. But sometimes we care. And that changes everything." The twins listened, as if understanding more than words could explain. They had been betrayed, yes, but now someone stood with them, not as a ruler, not as an emperor, not as a stranger. A human had found them when no one else would. Night fell over the ship. Stars dotted the dark sky outside the windows. Aaron watched them shimmer and realized something he had never thought before. The galaxy was vast, dangerous, and full of beings who might never care. But he had chosen to care. And that choice could mean more than any battle, any law, or any prophecy. The silver dragon curled up next to him, warm and trusting. The blue dragon lay nearby, alert but calm. Aaron rested his hand on their backs, feeling the steady beat of life beneath his fingers. "We'll get through this," he whispered. "The galaxy doesn't know it yet, but things are going to change. You'll show them that being forgotten doesn't mean being powerless. And we'll do it together." Outside, the stars glimmered silently. The galaxy had never told humans everything. It had never explained courage, patience, or the power of caring when everyone else turns away. Aaron understood now that he had a choice the Empire, the dragons, and the storm had not expected. And for the first time he saw it clearly. Sometimes humans could be the difference between life and death. Sometimes humans could save the forgotten. And sometimes humans could change the galaxy. The ship floated quietly through the dark reaches of space. Outside, stars sparkled like distant lanterns, and the twins watched with wide eyes. For the first time in their lives they felt free. The silver dragon leaned against Aaron Hale's arm, warm and trusting, while the blue dragon stayed alert, watching the ship's path carefully. But freedom rarely lasts without challenge. Sensors on Aaron's ship began to blink, warning him of approaching vessels. He frowned. "That's too fast," he muttered. "No human patrols should be here." The twin dragons shifted nervously. The blue one's tail flicked against the floor, a silent sign of tension. The silver one pressed closer to Aaron. "It's all right," he whispered softly. "We'll face it together." Through the viewport, four large ships appeared, sleek and imposing. Their designs were unmistakable, the Dragon Empire's fleet. The humans had not been exaggerating. These were not ordinary vessels. They were hunting for something, and the sensors confirmed it: the twins. Aaron's stomach tightened. He had hoped to stay ahead of the Empire, but they had tracked the dragon's energy. Now there was no hiding. A voice crackled through the ship's communication system. "Human pilot, you are in violation of Imperial Code. Release the royal heirs immediately. You are trespassing in restricted space." Aaron swallowed. I can't do that," he said quietly. "They were abandoned. They deserve a chance to live." "Abandoned or not," the voice replied coldly, "they belong to the Empire. Comply or face consequences." The twins stiffened. The blue one bared his teeth slightly, a silent warning. Aaron saw it and realized the truth. These creatures were not just small, fragile dragons. They carried the weight of centuries, the power of a royal line. They could fight, but they had not yet learned to trust fully in themselves. Aaron shook his head. "I won't hand them over. Not now. Not ever." The silver dragon stepped closer to him, touching his glove with a small, comforting nudge. The blue one flared his wings slightly, making the ship hum with tension. Aaron realized that the twins were not just following him. They were standing beside him, ready to face what came next. The Empire's ships moved into formation, blocking any escape. Aaron's hands gripped the controls tightly. He could not outrun them, and he could not fight them in space. Yet he remembered something important. The Empire had never expected this. They expected fear, submission, or surrender. They had not expected loyalty, courage, or choice. He pressed a button, opening the communication channel again. "Listen," he said firmly. "You left them behind. You erased them. I found them. They survived because I chose to care. If you take them by force, the galaxy will know the truth. And you will lose more than these two dragons. You will lose respect." The voice on the other end paused. There was no immediate reply. Silence filled the cabin. Even the stars outside seemed to shimmer in quiet tension. The blue dragon stepped forward, letting out a low growl. The silver dragon hissed softly, but he did not back down. Aaron saw it then: the twins had chosen him. They were not afraid of the Empire, they were afraid of being taken away from the one human who had saved them. Aaron took a deep breath. "I don't want to fight," he said. "I only want to protect them. You have forgotten what it means to care. Maybe you've forgotten what it means to lead. But I haven't. And neither have they." A flicker of hesitation appeared on the Empire's sensors. Aaron noticed it immediately. They were unsure, unprepared for the choice the dragons had made. No one had expected it. Two young dragons standing beside a human, refusing to return without reason. Minutes stretched. Then slowly the fleet began to pull back, scanning and hesitating. The Empire's code demanded obedience, but the truth was undeniable. The twins had survived. They had a protector. And they were no longer afraid. Aaron exhaled slowly, relief washing over him. "Good," he whispered. "Stay close. We're not safe yet, but we've bought time." The twins pressed closer. The blue one's eyes softened slightly, still cautious but less tense. The silver one curled up against Aaron, trusting him completely. They were no longer victims. They were survivors. They were allies. And together they had changed the balance of power, even if just a little. Aaron guided the ship away from the Empire fleet, careful but determined. The twins watched the stars pass by, their wings folded but ready. For the first time they understood something they had never been told. They could choose who they followed, who they trusted, and who would protect them. And they had chosen a human. Hours passed in silence, broken only by the soft hum of the ship and the occasional sigh from the twins. Aaron thought about the Empire and its fear of the twins. They had tried to erase them, hide them, and control them. But the twins had survived. They had trusted him. And that trust had created something stronger than fear, stronger than orders, stronger than the Empire itself. The storm on Erinder had almost finished them. The Empire had almost taken them. But here in the quiet of space they were alive. They were free. And for the first time, Aaron realized that human courage could do more than weapons, rules, or politics ever could. He looked at the twins and smiled. "We're not done yet," he said. "The galaxy will hear about you. And they will learn that being forgotten doesn't mean being weak. You survived. You matter. And we'll make sure no one forgets again." The silver dragon blinked slowly, nuzzling Aaron's arm, while the blue dragon's eyes shone with quiet determination. Outside, the stars moved past them, endless and bright. They were small against the galaxy, but together they were unstoppable. Aaron Hale had saved two dragons. The twins had chosen him. And together they had taught the Empire something it had forgotten. That courage, loyalty, and care could never be controlled, erased, or ignored. And the galaxy would never be the same. The ship glided quietly through space, leaving the Empire's fleet behind. The twins had settled into the cabin, curling up together on soft blankets. The silver one rested against Aaron Hale's arm, still trusting, still small but alive. The blue one stayed alert, watching the windows and the stars beyond, ready but calm. For the first time they felt safe. Aaron leaned back in his chair, thinking about the frozen world they had left behind. The snow on Erinder had almost taken them. The cold had tried to erase them, bury them, make the galaxy forget. But it had failed. He had found them. He had saved them. And somehow, against impossible odds, they had survived. "You know," Aaron said softly, looking at the twins, "the galaxy doesn't always tell the truth. It doesn't tell humans what courage really means. It doesn't show dragons what kindness looks like. But sometimes, it doesn't matter what the galaxy says. What matters is what you do." The silver dragon blinked slowly and nudged his hand again, a silent understanding passing between them. The blue dragon's eyes softened, almost imperceptibly, but it was clear he understood too. They had been abandoned, forgotten, and left for dead. And yet, someone had cared enough to save them. That care had changed everything. Aaron remembered the Empire's fleet, how their voice had barked orders, demanding the twins back. He remembered the fear, the tension, the sense that everything could be lost in an instant. But the twins had chosen him. They had stood beside him when it mattered most. And that choice, small, quiet, almost invisible, had done more than weapons or threats ever could. He turned to the twins. "The snow didn't finish you. The Empire didn't finish you. Nothing in the galaxy could finish you. You're still here. Alive. And that's proof that being small, being forgotten, doesn't mean you're powerless." The silver dragon chirped softly, a sound of agreement, and nudged his hand. The blue one shifted, pressing closer to his brother, their bond clear and unspoken. Aaron smiled. He could see it now. These dragons were not just survivors, they were teachers. They were showing him, and through him, the galaxy, that hope could exist even where it seemed impossible. Days passed in quiet routine. Aaron carefully navigated the ship through safe space routes, giving the twins food and warmth. He taught them small things about the human world, how to move safely in low gravity, how to understand sensors, and even how to react to different environments. The twins learned quickly, absorbing information in ways that impressed him. They were not just intelligent, they were wise beyond their years. Sometimes, the silver dragon would nuzzle Aaron, seeking comfort or approval. The blue dragon, more cautious, would watch from the side, making sure no danger approached. Together, they formed a strange little family. A human and two dragons, bound not by blood or law but by trust and care. Aaron thought about what they had escaped. The snow, the cold, the empire, it had tried to erase them. And yet it had failed. Because even when the galaxy forgot, even when no one else cared, someone did. Someone had chosen to act. That choice had given life, warmth, and hope. That choice had changed everything. He looked out the viewport at the stars. The Empire thinks power is control. They think fear and rules make life worth something. But they're wrong. Life is care. Life is trust. Life is the courage to stay when everyone else leaves. The twins seemed to understand. The silver one closed his eyes, finally resting fully, while the blue one leaned against his brother, calm for the first time in his life. The bond between them and Aaron had grown stronger than any law, stronger than any command from the Empire. It was something the galaxy had forgotten to measure. Loyalty born from choice, strength born from kindness. Weeks passed. The twins grew stronger every day, their wings stretching, their bodies filling out with health and warmth. Aaron guided them to safe worlds, where humans and aliens alike marveled at their beauty and intelligence. Slowly, news of the royal heirs spread, not as trophies, not as weapons, but as living beings who had survived when no one else had tried to help. Aaron never sought recognition. He did not want medals or praise. He only wanted them safe. And in return, the twins gave him something unexpected: trust, friendship, and the quiet understanding that even in the harshest galaxy, hope could survive. One quiet evening, Aaron watched the twins play in the small cargo bay. The silver one darted and twisted through the air, chasing light reflections, while the blue one followed cautiously, observing every movement. Their laughter, or the closest sound to laughter they could make, filled the ship, a soft music that warmed the cabin. Aaron smiled. "You know," he said softly, "I think the snow never took this away. The cold never could. You survived because you were strong, and because someone cared. That's something the galaxy cannot erase." The silver dragon chirped and landed gently on his shoulder, while the blue dragon rested beside him. They were small, yes. Fragile, yes. Forgotten once, yes. But no longer. They had warmth, safety, and a human who refused to leave them behind. And in that simple truth, everything changed. Outside, the stars moved endlessly, indifferent and vast. The galaxy could still be cruel. Empires could still make mistakes. But inside the ship, life was alive, hope was alive, and courage was alive. Aaron Hale had saved them. The twins had survived. And together, they had shown something the galaxy had forgotten: that even in the coldest snow, even in the deepest darkness, life and hope could endure. And that was something no storm, no empire, and no passage of time could ever take away.